welcome to this special edition of Startup Street. I'm Ritu Singh. Now, in a first-of-its-kind such partnership, global venture capital firms Accel and Prosus have come together to back the next generation of Indian founders that are creating what they call Leap Tech, which goes beyond deep tech, really looking at technology that is at the intersection of deep science and bold engineering. Now, through this global alliance, the two venture capital firms are going to back founders that are creating the next frontier companies from day zero. So Prosus is going to match Accel's early stage investments through Atoms X, giving founders the support that they need from seed to scale. To understand the nature of this unique partnership, I have with me Prateek Agarwal, who's partner at Accel, along with him Ashutosh Sharma, the head of investments at India and Southeast Asia at Prosus. Prateek and Ashutosh, both of you, thanks so much for your time here. Prateek, let me start with you about why this partnership. It's not like there's dearth of capital between the two of you. Why did you come up with this?
First of all, thank you for taking time and speaking with us and giving us an opportunity to talk about it. See, this is a pretty important partnership, we feel. See, Accel has been in India for a long time now, almost since this startup ecosystem's inception. And we've been very fortunate to partner with some of the important companies that are birthed here and pretty proud of contributing to the ecosystem. And what we've noticed is, in the last 15, 20 years or so, we've had from a standing start, we have created some institutions, which I would argue power a big part of the average Indian's lifestyle. Like from e-commerce to food delivery to consumer goods, etc. And so that has given a lot of confidence to the ecosystem that the startup ecosystem can build things that have durable value and become an important part of customers' life. That said, now we feel at Accel it's like a huge time to kind of change gears and multiply the ambitions of the ecosystem. In some way, so far, India was catching up to the global progress in the startup ecosystem. And now we feel it's like we have to kind of lead it. And we feel it's time for original, ambitious, uncharted, unproven ideas that can kind of transform markets.
I get that, but why is now the right time? For a market like India, why now?
Yeah, so it's a progression, right? So if for something like this to happen, there has to be enough talent pool. There has to be enough operating pool who has worked at startup. They can almost assume execution for granted. Previously, you could, even figuring out how to get something off the ground was a challenge. Now, the ecosystem is limited by ideas and novel insights. And you could assume that you can find the right capital, you can right talent to get it going. Right. Plus, on the bottoms up, we are seeing a lot of companies like this. We've invested in a few companies, actually a company that both Ashu and I work with called Vyom, which we are very excited about, which they are going after kind of getting unlimited internet to 500 million Indians.
Okay.
All the telecom players right now, while India has the cheapest 4G, it's only 25 gigabytes a month. I cannot service on 25 gigabytes. We can't survive. So they're trying to get it unlimited internet for much cheaper than that. So that's a pretty ambitious idea to start a telco in 2025.
All right.
So yeah, we are looking for more people like that, and we feel right now is the time where the ambition is there and the opportunity is there to accelerate India's path to the developed
Never mind the large competition out there in the telecom market, but Ashutosh, let me ask you that. I mean, what's in it for Prosus? Technically, I mean, if you look at Prosus's investments, they've been late-stage investments globally. What made you pivot to this, and what are you getting out of the partnership?
Yeah, for us, I think it's a very complementary partnership. Accel is extremely deep in India. They have many, many more investments than we do in India. They have a team which is much larger than ours in India. But we have a global footprint which is much broader. So we have investments in 40 countries across the world. So we can bring that to this partnership. The other reason this is complementary is that Accel is amazing getting a company from 0 to 1, 1 to 10, 10 to 100. And Prosus is slightly late stage, as you said, and so we can help companies grow from 100 to 1,000 to 10,000. And therefore, for a company like this, where the idea is really, really audacious, to help them grow from 0 to 1,000 and 10,000, I think collectively we can do it.
So Prosus has what, about $8.5 billion invested in India?
That's right.
To what extent can that grow with these kind of partnerships that you're looking at?
To a great extent, and I completely agree with Prateek. I think while India's startup ecosystem has matured, but it's still a baby. US is 60 years old, China is 40 years old, India at best probably 20 years old.
Okay.
And the first set of companies we saw were inspired from something that was happening in US or in China. Now we see brand new ideas with a very specific India challenge, with a very specific India-based solution. And therefore, we feel the adaptability of such ideas is over a large part of our population, a much larger part of our population. And therefore, in impact, this could be much, much larger than what we have done so far.
All right. Just give us some technicalities in terms of what kind of check sizes will you be writing? I mean, you're in it for the longer term. You've been doing these early stage investments. And if there is a sunset clause to this partnership?
So the starting investments that we propose is like anything from 200K to $1 million from each side. So like a company would get up to $2 million as their first check from AtomSex. And progressively it can keep going. Both of us have, like, as you said, like there's no dearth of capital within us. So as the companies keep progressing, we can continue to invest them a long way.
But Ashutosh, from a Prosus point of view, have you set aside a certain amount of capital to specifically invest through this partnership?
We've not, and we don't do that for anything. We don't have a specific geography allocation. We don't have a specific sector allocation, and we don't have a specific partnership allocation. So I think the onus is on both of us, and primarily Prateek, because this is his baby, this is his brainchild, this is his idea, to show success. And I think if we are successful, capital is not a problem.
So when you say primarily Prateek, is
He's just being too kind.
Is Accel going to be doing the due diligence on which companies, which founders to back? I mean, how will the partnership work?
We'll do all of this together, for sure, but the idea is specifically, and as we were discussing before we started, we are neighbors, and we take...
And yet this is the first time Prateek has come to your office.
And I go to his office much more often. That clearly shows the hierarchy.
Not to meet me.
That clearly shows the hierarchy.
Yeah.
And so yes, I have to, but over many long walks, actually, we discussed this, and I was just telling someone the other day, Prateek talks very passionately about how India can leapfrog from a developing economy to a developed economy at the back of such ideas. And so he feels very passionately about these. And he told me he has a dream that we will be able to find not 10, 15, 20, just like Martin Luther King. Like, I have a dream. So
this is your dream.
Yeah. So we're in it together. Of course, we'll do everything together, but he's the champion.
All right, so you will initiate the finding of these founders and the kind of sectors that you're looking at. Speaking of which, you use this interesting term called leap tech.
Yeah.
If you could define that for our viewers, I mean, we've heard plenty of deep tech.
Yes.
What exactly is leap tech?
See, so deep tech is anchored in the idea of deep technology, and then that technology could be doing a variety of things. It could be something wide-ranging, or it could be a niche kind of application in some healthcare, science, or something like that. Leap tech anchors in the idea of population scale impact.
Okay.
That the gating criteria for a leap tech company is, does it impact the lives of hundreds of millions of people, and not something niche? And the second idea is it has to be a step function transformation of the industry or the market. It's not about incremental changes. It's about like 100x differentiation. Like if you look at some of these ideas in India, like if you look at Jio or if you look at UPI, I would argue that India has leapfrogged. Like what are the Western experiences, some of these industries, even quick commerce. Like I would argue that our grocery buying experience is now like state of the art globally. Like none of my peers in any country enjoy the kind of convenience that we do. And we feel this is not like by accident. It's not like 1 or 2 or 3 ideas by accident are happening in India. It's happening in India because like the Indian consumer base is massive. And that consumer base is increasingly aspirational, has higher willingness to pay for convenience. And India is getting developed with technology. A lot of the infrastructure of organized markets in the West or in the East developed without technology, without digitization. So India's growth is internet native, is like technology native. So like the pharma factories in India may be like completely automated from the get-go versus like what would happen in other geographies. Or similar ideas. So the idea is leap tech stands for step function transformation through a technology breakthrough, business model breakthrough, or a product breakthrough. But it has to be a breakthrough.
Okay.
The way I internalize this is like deep tech is some sort of a sub-segment of leap tech. Till the time such deep tech has population level impact. If it has, then it is a sub-segment of leap tech.
But if I were to, sort of pinpoint certain sectors or certain themes, because this is a very broad theme that you're talking about, because what makes sense for a 1.4 billion customer country? I mean, what are the sectors, that would fit into this category? Yeah, what are the kind of
It's going to be very foundational. It's going to be like big parts of the economy, big parts of a consumer or business need. Like it's going to be like stuff in energy. It's going to be stuff around manufacturing. It can be stuff in like new kind of computer interfaces. It can be obviously like the AI technology is like really powerful right now. This will have far-ranging impact on society. It can be like the problems that we face, like right now, problems of pollution, problems of transportation. Like one company we invested in called Sarla Aviation, which is building like
robotaxis, EVT or whatever they call it.
eVTOL, So those technologies have insane promise because overnight, like it costs like hundreds of crores to build a kilometer of metro, and it costs 5 lakhs to build a helipad. So these kind of ideas. We're looking for ideas which are unproven, uncharted, bold, ambitious, but if they work, they will transform society.
It could also be in an old school industry, healthcare, education, right? 1.5 billion people need healthcare, and 1.5 billion need education. And how many hospitals can we build? And how many schools can we build? How many teachers can we train? Not enough. There has to be, as Prateek said, there has to be a leapfrogging of product here, such that it caters to so many people.
Let me get even more specific then. You've given us an idea of sectors and ideas. Are there companies either of you already identified you could share with us that'll be part of this joint investment Accel and Prosus do together?
So we have a pretty big pipeline. At this point, we won't be able to reveal specific names, but we've gotten over 1,000 applications already from actually Indians globally, not just in India, building for India and outside. And there are certain companies that we're very excited about, and you'll hear about them soon enough.
But out of these thousands, how many will you end up practically investing in? And is there anything that's already been shortlisted?
Yeah, so look, there's no number that we have in mind. What we have decided between both the organizations is that we'll keep the bar very high.
Okay.
Right? And so if we can find 5 that meet that bar, is fine. If you can find 50, even better. So that's not a problem, but the bar is high, and the bar is that population level impact that he was talking about.
Let's say you shortlist these 10, 20, 50 companies. Given some of the expertise that both of you have, whether that is early stage or global presence, what will building in India, building for the global market look like in practice? And what kind of support would somebody like Prosus be able to provide to give them access to those global markets?
Yeah. So one or two things. One, because we have such a big global footprint, there is around 5.5 billion people that we reach out to through our portfolio companies. I'm not saying all that market is available day one, but if someone has a product which is interesting, there is markets beyond India that we can enable for them, right? And then the second aspect is in certain functional areas like artificial intelligence, between our portfolio itself, we have a lot of talent that we can bring to bear, but specifically for Prosus internally, we have 150 people in our AI team. Our AI team is bigger than our investment team. And so if there is something to be done with that, we're happy to enable that. And Accel has a much longer history, so I'm sure there's much more.
Look, see, there is a lot of support we provide to any of our portfolio companies, which is very custom to their requirement. I think the most important thing that we hope to signal through this initiative is that often when we meet founders who are doing something new, refreshing, hard, difficult, with a longer gestation period, every investor asks them, like, even if I invest in an early stage investment, who would do the follow-on round? Where's the capital going to come from? Is there enough appetite for these ideas? The biggest signal we want to give is between us, I think there's an infinite pool of capital that is there for these ideas now.
To cover them through the stages of their journey.
All the way. So the biggest message we want to send is be unafraid. If you are bold, we are bold with you and backing you with conviction, which wasn't possible before. And so a lot of people who were very excited about these ideas either would not pursue it or would leave Indian borders in the hope of like believers. They don't have to do that anymore.
So, what in this partnership are you going to have to look back to later and say, that really changed the game? I mean, what is that metric you're going to track?
Yeah, look, there is no metric, but I think 2 or 3 years out, if we are able to find enough entrepreneurs who were sitting on the fence so far, just because they didn't see a platform that will support them.
Yeah.
If you are able to find and fund enough of these, I think we will be very happy. 5 years out, 10 years out, these have to be very promising businesses, creating a generational impact, I would say.
100%. I think if we can culturally change the narrative that only these kind of startups are viable to go after in India, to the idea that anything is possible now, and the bolder the ambition is, the better it is. If we can change that, if we can add this color to the culture of the ecosystem, that would be the biggest success.
Is that the message you'd like to send out to entrepreneurs out there that
100%.
are watching, probably looking to approach either of you with an application?
Absolutely.
All right. We've broadly covered what the nature of this partnership would look like. We'll wait to see what these companies are that you two look to back together. But briefly, since we're ending 2025, starting 2026, what are some of the bold themes, new ideas that's got both of you excited individually as well at Accel and at Prosus?
There is a lot happening. See, I feel there are several themes. One is like, as he said, like the entire massive consumer base of India is now looking to kind of
is an ongoing theme.
Yes, a better experience. And that's happening in products, in services, in all kind of sectors. Then outside of that, Indian rise as a sovereign nation. So all the core competencies around manufacturing, export, building the core technologies in-house. That's a big theme. Then with AI, like we have a lot of scale-up companies now who've seen like problems in those companies, and with the possibilities of AI, they have global level insights now to build like really global institutions. So I think like I don't think there was ever a better time, and progressively every year is going to be better. Yeah.
So Ashutosh, for Prosus, big themes to watch out for in 2026, and any big exits?
Oh yes. Look, I mean, we've been lucky so far. Swiggy last year, we've had 2 this year. Hopefully Misho shortly. So fingers crossed. I think as for bold themes, AI is not a bold theme anymore. I think everyone knows about it. I think the adoption of AI in the Indian context continues to be a bold theme for me. How does AI impact innovation in agri, in education, in health? We have a company together called Arivihan, in education meets AI. So how can we use AI to completely change how products were consumed in these old school industries is something that I'm looking forward. And next year we'll probably do much more in that.
But in terms of the kind of risk appetite you're seeing globally and the kind of dry powder the two of you are sitting on, of course, apart from this one partnership you've signed, any hints you could give us?
Also, I mean, we have around $13-14 billion in cash on the balance sheet, and I think all of it is available. We used up $6-7 billion last year, not just in India, but globally. And yes. All right.
Prateek?
So I spoke to some of the themes that we're excited about. But in terms of dry powder, like Accel's, like we're running our Fund 8 right now. And we operate very closely with our global teams. So I think everything from 100K check to 100 million check is par for the course, and you'll hear some of them.
I think the bottom line is, if you have a good idea in India, and I'm not just talking about us, I think capital will not be a problem.
All right. I mean, that's a good sentiment to end on for founders, especially listening out there, that capital is not going to be a constraint. What could be?
Ambition.
Ambition could be a constraint. And conviction could be a constraint. Hopefully they'll work on the two of those. Thanks very much. On that note, Prateek and Ashutosh, it was a pleasure speaking with you, and we look to hear more from the two of you on how you take this partnership ahead. Thanks very much.
Super. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, on that note, we're going to take a break on this show, but don't go anywhere. We're back in just a moment with more news and updates. Welcome back. You're watching Startup Street. Now, at Dreamforce 2025 in San Francisco, the conversation around artificial intelligence was not just about technology, but it was also about empathy, about storytelling, and about purpose. Now, in this exclusive conversation with CNBC TV18's Aishwarya Anand, Salesforce's Chief Digital Evangelist Vala Afshar spoke about the future of intelligence, on leadership, and the true potential of human-AI collaboration. Take a look.
One of the first questions that I have for you is that everyone at Dreamforce is talking about agentic enterprise.
Yes.
But if we just remove the tech, what does it actually mean in human terms? Okay. I want to understand that what's the emotional or behavioral shift that we're really describing here?
In the last 11 years of Salesforce innovating in the AI space, we first started with predictive use of AI, using software to predict outcomes. And then we grew and matured into the second phase, which was generative AI.
Yeah.
Now we're in the third wave, the agentic AI. And what has happened over time is software can understand language. We call it natural language processing. Software has now reasoning capabilities. So for the first time in humanity, software is not just a tool, software can now execute and mimic some of the tasks that humans do to conduct their jobs. So it's an inflection point for the first time where in an agentic enterprise, people and AI agents can work together and co-create value. I've been in tech for 30 years, and I thought cloud computing was going to be perhaps the most important technology of my lifetime.
Yeah.
I now view AI and agentic AI as electricity for the 21st century.
As AI agents begin making independent decisions, okay?
Sure.
How do we build systems for accountability? And who takes responsibility when an AI agent misrepresents tone, cultural context, or customer intent?
When we develop products, the first thing we do is we have our research team and folks that understand ethics and trust, because trust is our number one core value.
True.
Before the first line of code, we ask, is this something that's going to be better for companies, society, our communities as a whole? If it's not, we don't build it. The question will always be, humans are going to be accountable. It's not technology that does good or bad. It's the people behind the technology, I believe.
So, I've heard you often talk about customer experience as a love story.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So in an era of AI-driven interactions,
Sure.
how do brands design for delight and not just data accuracy? And can empathy still scale when algorithms are in the driver's seat?
All AI projects start and finish as data projects. So they're critically tied to each other in terms of success. Yes, you can build empathy in an algorithm.
Okay.
I got to tell you, when we launched Agentforce to help our customers on our website, help.salesforce.com, we made a mistake. We didn't modify the algorithm to say, look for words where if there's a sense of urgency or tonality, immediately get them to a human. To stay relevant, you have to deliver value at the speed of need. Great agentic enterprise companies have the ability to forecast and predict, what can I do to make you smile, to make you fall in love with my brand? Those are the companies that are going to win.
Traditional KPIs measure speed, scale, ROI, right? But when AI starts thinking and acting, how do you measure success then?
That's a great question. I think you have to adopt a mindset of working backwards.
Okay.
Start with asking a question, what does your customer consider success?
Okay.
What does your customer need to grow their business? Innovation doesn't happen in the centers. Innovation happens on edge. How does your customer serve their customers? That's where you find innovation opportunities. Once you understand what success looks like for your customer, then you can define the key performance indicators in terms of the progress you're making to ensure your customer is successful.
Now, you've seen innovations across continents. When you look at India specifically.
India specifically?
Yes.
Yeah, I love
its scale, speed, and scrappy, experimentation, I would say. What do you think the world can actually learn in how India is adopting and humanizing AI?
I've been a strong advocate of innovation in India. Right now, and the numbers speak for itself. Right now, when you look at the number of startups valued at $1 billion or more, unicorns, India is number 3 in the world.
Yes.
US, China, India. You are approaching about 100 unicorns in India, which again, 3rd in the world, and big distance between 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So India will play an incredibly pivotal role in the success of Salesforce and our ecosystem. The investments we're making in India and the growth trajectory from 2022 to 2025, we've had 6x growth in terms of number of resources we have in India. The investments we're making in startups in India, Salesforce Ventures is super. The actions of my company clearly speak to the importance of India in terms of what could be a global superpower when it comes to AI innovation.
Vala, my final question to you is, you've been part of the Dreamforce for over a decade now.
Absolutely.
You've seen trends come and go. What's your one thing that you wish that the world would unlearn about AI?
In the last 15 years I've come to Dreamforce, what are some new ingredients? Cloud computing, social networking, the mobile revolution, Internet of Things, the data revolution, metaverse, distributed ledgers, blockchain, quantum computing, AI, agentic, predictive, generative, physical. So my answer to your question, unlearn about most of the recipes you have. And if you're not operating like a chef, if you're not unlearning all the recipes of the past, you may ignore an ingredient that frankly is going to either keep your restaurant up and running or it's going to close. You're either an agentic enterprise or you're on the path of a declining business.
All right, on that note, we're going to wrap up this special edition of Startup Street. Thanks very much for tuning in. It's a goodbye and thank you from all of us.